There you go.
Hi, Karla.
Hi, Bea. How are you?
Good, good. Finally, yeah, because we had a plan to meet some time ago, but yeah, now it's spring already. But good
Mhm.
to see you.
Good to see you too.
So busy life, right?
It is, but I'm definitely glad to see more blue skies.
Yes, for sure. So tell us who you are, and then I will introduce myself, and then we will talk about the relocation story.
Yes, well, I am Karla Calinawan. I am a founder of a startup called Foundree. Foundry's mission is to help workplaces support their working parent population, especially during the transition back to work after going on parental leave. And I'm an American, and I've been here in Amsterdam. I'm based in Amsterdam for almost 5 years now.
And do you like it?
Love it. Is this gonna be home? I'm gonna grow old here. I'm gonna be hopefully one of the Omas in the playground. If my kids have
Oh, that's
kids, I have three
great.
kids. Yeah, so this is home. Yeah.
That's a good start. That's a good start. I love it.
Yes.
So my name is Beata van Velzen. I'm originally Polish. I'm intercultural trainer and workshop facilitator from I Got Your Back. And I'm also creator of Relocation Program. It's an online course where you can just go online and do the course that will help you mentally through the relocation process. So I have those relocation stories when I invite people to tell them to tell how was it for them really to relocate to
Hmm.
different countries. Some for some people it's more than once, right?
Hmm.
And I believe when you move together with the whole family, it's
Hmm.
completely different story.
Hmm.
There's
Hmm.
a lot to cover, and I think also the age has a lot to do with how we unpack this emotional baggage, but also how we prepare to move. So tell us how it was for you. Was the Netherlands first big move, or was it something earlier? And what would you like to share
Yeah,
now?
no, so I have definitely moved away from my kind of, I mean, like when you talk about like the relocation story, the first relocation story is as a child moving from the Philippines to America. So I was 13 years old when I first moved. And that was a fairly easy transition as a 13-year-old for me because yeah, I mean, like culturally, like where I grew up in the Philippines, there was a lot of, we were very exposed to like American culture. I spoke English all my life. So it wasn't a very difficult transition as a kid. And then as a grown up, as an adult, I moved twice internationally. First is to spend 2 years in South America in Guyana. And then again, moving back to the Philippines as a grown up and working a corporate job there, which was very interesting. I spent a year doing that. And then the final move, hopefully, I think, from the US to here in the Netherlands, and doing that absolutely with family, because those previous moves, that was just me or me and my husband.
Mhm.
And this time we moved, at the time my kids, I have three kids now, but I had two kids when we moved. They were 3.5 and 1.5. So they were really small, and it was during the pandemic. So that was also kind of yeah, an interesting time to move.
Yeah, yes. I also moved, but only from within the Netherlands. I moved,
Mhm.
and I loved it here straight away because I have such a nice neighbors and the neighborhood that, and when you were not able to actually travel and see that many friends and family in that period,
Yeah.
it was really a sign for me that this is home, because the neighbors were so welcoming, and I felt straight away like yeah, this is the place I really want to stay in. And I always say that I love Leusden where I live because of the neighbors, because when I open my window, the doors, I see those people who are so friendly,
Yeah.
and it's so important, really, like the environment where you live, right?
Yeah. It makes such a
How
difference. Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, and so now you have say you have three kids, and also
Hmm.
your work and
Hmm.
your startup
Yeah.
is really connected with your own situation, right? Basing on your experience. How was it? How the idea came up? Tell us more about it.
Yeah. it's so I when I first moved here, I think the one thing that if I were to change anything about my relocation story, it's I would have made a stronger effort to build a professional community at first. I waited until I left my job and I started building my business. That was almost 3 years ago. So the first 2 years, I just kind of was in my own bubble. I worked for a Berlin-based startup that was in the digital coaching space. So I really saw the impact that coaching has
Mm,
on people, in organizations. And I decided, like, you know what? I actually want to not just work in a startup, but actually do this work. I want to coach. I want to, and throughout that journey of getting my certification, I reflected back on my own experiences where I needed that support. And I kept coming back to, okay, when I returned back from maternity leave, from parental leave, I wish I could have gotten a little bit more support during that very kind of vulnerable time.
mm,
And so that's kind of how the idea kind of came about. And um but like through building this business, through kind of developing this idea, it has really forced me to build a business community here. And that's been such a gift to now feel like not only do I feel like a home in terms of like my friends and my kids kind of going to a local school, but I'm really building a foundation for like a business home as well, here in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. So that's been a really great kind of byproduct of building, yeah, my business.
mm-hmm. Yes, and also at your work, like work, but also
Yeah.
now working with internationals, I believe that you have clients who went through the similar way and also need that support, looking how they can go back on the market, but also what they want to do, because sometimes becoming a parent. Um, yeah, shifts something in us, right?
Mm.
We tend to see what are the priorities, because priorities changes,
Yeah.
and then they maybe want to, if they need to be away from those precious people in their life, they want to do something meaningful, right? And
Yeah.
I think you help with that. This is not really a relocation story, but I think it's really nice if you share a little bit about that, because those people most of the time also moved countries. And
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it certainly like adds a different element to people who are relocating. And then, if you're going through growing your family, um, not only are you kind of going through this kind of identity transformation that you're already having to do in some ways, kind of like figure things out in a new country, different culture, you're navigating all of those. And then to do that, there's like the logistics part of like, okay, how does like, giving birth work, like all of the things that you're figuring
mm,
out. And then kind of returning to work. And sometimes kind of what I hear is kind of the tensions around like people who are international or who are not here from the Netherlands, is just being away from their family, from their support networks. And so it's a lot of the work has to be around kind of how do you build your own village and your own network as you are growing your family when your own families might be very far. And there always, there is that like, oh, I wish, like some of my colleagues who have grandparents and other family around that they can kind of turn to for support, like that's just not available to you. And so there's also that added layer of not only the transformation that you're going through, and kind of the additional cultural nuances that you're having to navigate, but also just the absence of support and the support being far, far away and you having to kind of build that. And I see that, and I see that, thankfully, I think there is a growing awareness that we need to build these communities, and they are popping up. And it's very encouraging to see that, but that's definitely makes it, kind of adds complexity to a life change that is already complex.
mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And there's so much. I've got the feeling that after Corona, there's all, like I have a feeling that I cannot even follow up on how much is going on, all the events, and
Hmm.
I think there's lots of groups and communities that can support you, and it's a matter of trying which one fits you, but also, like how to really stay focused and maybe go back to yourself what you need, right? Because you have those mama groups, you have those expat groups, so the networking. And I'm also a mom, and I get all the time invites to people who don't have kids. And then like, okay, it's great, but it's Friday evening. I just feel like weekend is a family time. So
Hmm.
um sometimes really checking, like, because you have only 24/7, right? And you need
Yeah.
to kind of navigate, like you said, what really, like, filling you, like what's serving you best.
Yeah.
And yeah, like how to look for the right place first. Of course you need to look, but then also check if it's the right place for you.
Yeah.
And I think in Amsterdam is really nice place for business owners, for women.
Mhm.
And lots of startups, lots of groups where you can really yeah, like get inspired, or inspire
Mhm.
someone else, and talk to people in a similar situation.
Yeah.
Can you say which groups had the biggest impact? Because
Mm.
I know we belong to one
Yes.
organization. Our,
Yes.
our heart, yeah, and also
Yes.
time and effort we invested
Yeah.
in that organization, and
Right.
why this one, and what, yeah, how do you see, how was it for you, and in which point of your life? Because yeah, being mom of three, I think it's like
Yeah.
also challenging to find the time and actually then invest this time in contribute voluntarily, right?
Yeah.
So when did it happen, how did it happen?
For
And
sure. Oh my
yes.
gosh. Yeah. But like to your point about it is so easy to get swept up in the FOMO of it all, right? There's so many things happening and you kind of feel like you're missing out. But it's so important to check in with yourself in terms of like what do you actually need? And I would for sure like I think when I decided, like, okay, I'm going to build my business, I don't have a network here. I'm just going to network like crazy. And like, I attended everything. And then, like, oh my goodness, like that first year, I was saying yes to everything. And that was like not sustainable, not sustainable at all. Um, so I like, oh, I can volunteer, I can help out. Like, it's just was not. And then now I think it took me a while to kind of figure out. So there's gonna be some experimentation and like finding out which communities like do you feel like like, for me I like really trust my gut and like okay, do I feel good when I attend these like events or do I feel like I'm
Mhm.
having to wear a mask and have to like it's actually draining. Luckily I'm an extrovert, so I get really fired up by being in these kind of events and their energy kind of boosters to me. But still, there's certain kind of rooms and certain spaces and communities where it's not as like a good fit. And the organization that we are both in, Female Ventures, that's like one of the early ones that I attended. I think I just went to, I found it on Eventbrite. I like was Googling like networking and it was there. Like the time was actually not too bad because it was like later in the evening. So that really makes a difference for parents, by the way, when networking events happen, because oftentimes they're like immediately right after work, like at 5:30, which for me, it's just like that's when I'm making dinner. That's when like later in the evening is actually when I can, okay, I've helped with dinner, I've helped with bath, like they're off to bedtime, so I can actually step out at that time. And so the timing for the Female Ventures worked out well. And I just like really enjoyed meeting all of the women I met at that event. And then, raised my hand, said I'd love to volunteer. And that's how I became part of the Amsterdam team for Female Ventures. I love that it was a very kind of international kind of community as well as local kind of Dutch. And women from different kinds of industries, entrepreneurs, people who are in corporate. So I just really love the vibe and I just have became more and more involved. So I'm now in the Amsterdam team as a volunteer, as an events manager, and participated in the mentorship program. And that has really allowed me to expand my network, and just like meet really interesting women. So it's been a
Yeah.
huge part in terms of the community building is, yeah, a shout out to
Mhm.
female ventures.
Yes, no, I'm really happy because actually that's where we met
Yeah.
also
Mhm.
during the, I think there was the last meeting from the mentoring program
Yes,
in
yes,
on the
yeah.
beach, right?
Yes,
Pouring
yes. It
rain.
was
Oh
pouring
my
rain. I
Yeah,
know.
for me,
Yeah.
like the Den Haag is like 100 kilometers. So
Yeah.
I also try to be real, like yeah, really realistic. What kind of event is it, and how much I want to be involved. And yeah, I did the same kind of path because I also have been event manager for Female Venture, but for Utrecht team, which is the
Yeah.
closest one from where I live. And I love the organization. Absolutely. Like you say, that the atmosphere is so nice. It's just like so easy to connect, and
Mm.
then have those conversations with people.
Yeah.
They Yeah, I would really love to do something for them in the area where there's no gathering,
Right.
like
Right.
Flavoland or more like
Yeah.
Groningen. Or
Yeah.
but yeah, you also need to, because like when you commit, you really like
Yeah.
yeah.
It is.
So
It is definitely a time investment. I think like, kind of building community, um, like you have to invest time. It can't just like go and not show up, like yeah, it's an investment, but I think it's one that really kind of pays in meaningful ways. And yeah, yeah.
yeah. And now your kids are going, like you mentioned, to Dutch school, and you
Hmm.
have other Dutch kids probably in your home, and
Yes.
you see all those cultural differences. Because I believe inside the house you can still do a lot from wherever you're coming from, but
Yes.
outside
Yeah.
interacting, and kids have this like like really like they great in just being true and authentic and just
Yes.
be the
Yeah.
way like
Yeah.
they were brought up.
Yeah.
So like what would you say, what do you see on an everyday basis, the biggest differences between the culture where you're coming from, and you can talk about US or
Yeah.
Philippines or and Dutch
Yeah.
culture, because I think there's a lot of mix at your home.
Yeah. I think it's so well, one is like definitely in terms of style of communication. I've always like I've like pointed out to my kids, I'm like, oh, you're learning the Dutch directness. Like, like in terms of when they give feedback that's very direct, I'm like, that's you're picking up like, the culture from like your peers at school. And so that's something that I definitely pick up on. I think a lot of it is also I'm always paying attention to like even like small things about like how, yeah, the locals, how they teach their kids to be more independent, and to be kind of self-efficacy, because that's something, I mean, when we left the US, my kids were still very small, but it still got exposed enough to like how parenting is done there, and it's a lot more intensive. There's less of this
Freedom.
focus on teaching kids to be more independent. And so that's something that I think I see as a big difference here. And it's something that I'm, definitely looking at cues to see how parents are doing things here to encourage that independence among their kids. It's something that I want to kind of strive towards, but doesn't come as naturally because that's not kind of the environment where I grew up, or like the way that parents are parenting in the US. So I would say that that's kind of the biggest thing, is just this focus on independence. And it's just, yeah, something that I really admire and want to bring more into how I'm raising my kids.
Mhm. Yeah, and you mentioned that this is my home on the beginning. Was really beautiful. Um, are there any things that really like annoy you?
Yeah, well, it's more
Cannot
for
be that safe,
myself.
right?
Yeah, I wish I mean, I need to get better at learning Dutch. And I think being in there's so many great things about living in Amsterdam, but I think one part of that's not so great is that everyone speaks English. It's very easy for you to just not have to learn Dutch. So I think that that's definitely one that I kind of want to learn, and just because there's just small inconveniences by not knowing it. Um, God, what annoys me? I don't know. I'm still, I feel like I keep telling this to others that I like, oh, I'm still in the honeymoon phase. I'm still in the honeymoon phase. And it's like almost 5 years now, and I'm still in the honeymoon phase. And I like find very little things to complain about. I know that's such a privilege, and that's such a I mean, there's certain things that like, yeah, sometimes when the directness is a little too direct, like the dentist the other day said to my daughter, like, "Oh, your teeth are looking very good. It's much better than your mom's." Um, and asked me, I'm like, "Do you want to consider like getting an Invisalign?" I'm like, "Okay." Like I'm not super sensitive. It was kind of like said in a not in a mean intentioned way, but those are so minor, and so I think there's just so much that I yeah, the
Most of it
benefits.
is good. Most of it is
Yeah,
good.
most of it is good. Yeah.
And your husband is American.
Also American. Yeah. 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 So,
So yeah, I thought I would pick up something there, but
yeah. Also American and no Dutch roots whatsoever. Yeah, born and raised in California.
okay.
Yeah.
And what would you say in general? I always try to check if what people are advising to other people that are planning to move or thinking about maybe living in the Netherlands, because most of the people I talk to, they are living here in the Netherlands,
Mm-hmm.
coming from different places.
Yeah.
Any advice, like in general? Because I concentrated in my program on different things that I thought
Hmm.
was really most important, like curiosity, openness,
Yeah.
integration, and then eventually that an identity shift, which is also kind of a choice to
Yeah.
make.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there something you would like to mention from your perspective
Yeah.
that would help? Apart
Yeah.
from what you said, also building your village, your
Yeah.
network.
Yeah. I think I mean, this is a very kind of like, if you are a parent, and specifically mothers, I think mothers sometimes take on a lot. And you want to kind of just at least my tendency is to always like just put a lot on my plate, and but it's also like fine to relax and to take it easy and to not. I know I said like, oh, I should have built my professional community when I first got here, and I'm like, it's actually fine, like even if I started like a couple years, because there was still so many things to learn, you know. So I think it's like, pick one thing, whatever it is that it could be, yeah, like, is it like more around introspection and understanding the identity shift that you're going through, or is it more about, yeah, like how do you start building a village? How do you start kind of building the community within your kid's school, or whatever it might be? But I think like trying to ex or having the expectation that everything will kind of like work like seamlessly within a certain kind of time is just, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, I think. And so I think, yeah, having a knowledge of pace and knowing that, things will flow if you're going through kind of a difficult time, and picking like the one thing that you want to dedicate your energy and time to, I think would be, yeah, a way to go to really kind of build a sustainable foundation for a life here.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful. Yes, being so more compassionate and
Yeah.
chilled out
Yeah.
in the process and trust the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Thank you. And would you like to share how people can find you, or something that you busy with at the moment, maybe
Yeah.
event, or maybe a project or something that's yeah, this is also your space, so let's use
Oh
it.
yeah. Well, I mean, I love speaking to organizations who are trying to do something different with how they're supporting parents. So whether it is just spoke another organization to talk about like caregiving at work and how like what's the impact both on the caregiver, like the mother, the father, the parent, and then what's the impact in the workplace. So it's really if you're working for a company where you think that that would be kind of interest, I mean, they can find me. My website is Foundree with Foundree.co. But yeah, so I'm always willing to have a chat and see, how we can kind of spread the message of valuing caregivers at work.
Yeah, it's very important. That's why I also thought, when creating this program, how I can help people go
Yeah.
through this journey. I was also mainly concentrating on organization to have this program in within the learning environment, so anyone who actually is there can use it without just any extra hassle, because it's also like so much easier to actually take care of those employees going through different phases of their life,
Mhm.
if it's
Mhm.
relocation, becoming a
Yeah.
parent, or burnout, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
we all in certain moment of our life have those challenging situations that
Mhm.
we need to
Mhm.
face, and if we have an employer who really cares about it, then it's like win-win, right? Like
Yeah.
we feel supported, and we feel also like more yeah, open to stay there, to invest in a long time relationship with the. So yeah, I always think like, killing the fire is not the way to grow and extend and yeah, scale your business. If you really have people behind you, it's everything seems easier and faster, and yeah, those employees are the biggest assets. So
Yeah.
thanks for sharing, and really, really, really positive, really happy to have someone really only seeing bright sides of living in the
I know
Netherlands.
it's because
And
we have blue skies. Maybe if it was raining today,
all
it would be
because of the
like,
sun
okay, I'm gonna
outside.
complain about this, this, and this. It's just like,
Yeah, and we are definitely in the phase of the. Yeah. No, Carla, thanks a lot again. I'll hopefully see you on one of the events from Female Venture.
Yeah.
And yeah, have a beautiful, beautiful weekend coming.
Yes, thank you so much. I think, being able to share these stories and kind of what you're doing with the relocation programs is so important. And so thank you for having me as well, Beta.
Thanks. Okay,
Thank
take care.
you.